A woman horribly injured speaking Spanish goes door to door for help around 77th and Oglesby early this morning. Surveillance video shows the frantic moments as the woman who had been shot seeks assistance. Chicago police report the woman had been shot in the face and chest and was the only one to survive. Less than a block away, 2 other women had been shot in the head.
We're following some breaking news out of the South Shore neighborhood this morning. 2 women are dead and another severely injured following a shooting. The victims were found unresponsive with gunshot wounds in an alley near 77th and South Oglesby. This happened just before 5 o'clock this morning. 2 of the victims were pronounced dead on the scene. A third has been taken to a local hospital, remains in critical condition. At this time, nobody is in custody as the shooting remains under investigation.
It starts with a sound, sharp, sudden, cutting through the silence of the early morning. Somewhere in the darkness, someone pulls the trigger. Once, twice, maybe more. 3 women left for dead in a cold, narrow alley. 2 won't make it. The third barely clings to life. She stumbles through the night bloodied, desperate, searching for help. But who is she running from and why?
Hey, Paul, we're on the south side monitoring this breaking news situation here in the South Shore neighborhood. 3 women have been shot just before 5 o'clock this morning. Just showing you the closure. They're focusing on this alleyway here. But I wanted to tell you that 78th Street in the area here is closed from Oglesby to Crandon. Please steer clear of the area. Very heavy police presence following the shooting that happened earlier this morning. Winnie Dorch is actually live on the ground right now, able to give us an update on what we know from police. Winnie?
Good morning, Brett. That's right. I'm down here on 78th and Oglesby. It's still very much an active scene, again, confirming all 3 victims were women. Take a look behind me. Police and detectives all huddled up, talking to each other, also talking to community members. According to police, all 3 victims were found unresponsive in an alley just before 5 a.m. 2 of the 3 women, both believed to be in their 20s or 30s, both shot in the head. The third woman was shot in the face and chest. She was taken to the University of Chicago Hospital. Again, this happening just before 5 o'clock this morning. Right now, it's unclear what led up to the shooting. It's also unclear if these women are related. We're still working to get more information. As soon as we do, we'll bring it to you live. Live here in South Shore.
2 women are dead and 1 is critically wounded after a shooting on the city's south side. The shooting happened around 4:50 a.m. Tuesday on 7700 South Oglesby Avenue in the South Shore neighborhood. Police said 3 women were found unresponsive in an alley. 2 of the women, both believed to be 20 to 30 years old, sustained a gunshot wound to the head and were pronounced dead on the scene. A third woman, who was also believed to be between 20 and 30 years old, sustained a gunshot wound to her face and chest and was transported in critical condition to the University of Chicago Medical Center.
There is an investigation of a shooting in the South Shore neighborhood. Chicago police are looking into an early morning shooting that killed 2 young women and left 1 badly hurt. So this crime happened near 77th and Oglesby. Lexi Suter is following the case for us from Chicago Police Headquarters.
As the Chicago Fire Department washes away what's left of this crime scene, neighbors say they're deeply disturbed by what they witnessed in the dark hours of morning.
She was banging on the door and screaming and pleading for help.
Marcia Talbert woke up to the sound of a woman screaming, yelling for someone to call the police.
When I saw her, she sat down and I could see she was covered in blood. She didn't have a coat on. There's blood all over my doorstep, all over my door, all over my doorbell.
Talbert wasn't the only one woken up by this crime scene. Several other neighbors made the calls to 911. All of this unfolding around 4:45 this morning.
Caller states that there's a female at his door bleeding, banging on the door. She's covered in blood. And then a second caller for that same location.
Police say the woman pleading for help was shot in the chest and face. She and the other 2 women, who were pronounced dead at the scene with gunshot wounds to their heads, are believed to be between the ages of 20 and 30. So far, no identities have been released.
This is a tragic situation. I will say that. It's going to be a day for me and my family to possibly heal from this, but we're going to take our time.
Detectives continue to work around the clock on this case, but so far, no one is in custody.
Start with that deadly shooting in the South Shore neighborhood.
Yeah, 2 women are dead and a third woman is in really bad shape. Darius Johnson is live near that scene, which is at 78th and Oglesby. And Darius, you spoke to a neighbor who actually helped one of those victims.
Dana and Audrina, I've actually spoken to 2 neighbors at this point. One of those neighbors who we spoke to called police after that woman who was injured showed up on her front porch covered in blood. Another woman who we just spoke to in the last 5 minutes, we're going to work to get that sound to you all at some point throughout the day. That woman tells us that woman knocked at her door as well. She didn't open the door because she didn't know what the woman needed, but she is trying to clean up the blood that has been left behind. Take a look at some of the video that we've been able to gather throughout the morning. Chicago police tell us this all unfolded around 4:50 this morning. When they arrived, they say that they found 2 women between the ages of 20 and 30 with gunshot wounds to their heads. Then they say there was a third woman who was taken to University of Chicago by Chicago Fire in critical condition with gunshot wounds to the face and chest. We spoke to a woman who just lives doors away from where all this happened. She told us she called police when the injured woman came to her door banging on the door asking for help. She said that woman was covered in blood. She then brought her inside and wrapped a blanket around her and called police. Take a listen.
We just wanted to make sure the young lady was okay. That was the main thing. We saw a young lady that was in distress, and we just wanted to make sure, you know, we called the police. We called a few times just so she can get some help.
Back out here live this morning, police do not have anyone in custody, and it's unclear if they are looking for anyone at this time or who they may be looking for. But one thing I can tell you, there are plenty of doorbell cameras right here in this neighborhood. There was even a neighbor in the last 5 minutes coming up to police saying, hey, I have something on my Ring doorbell camera. I have the woman asking for help. And it seems as if she possibly started speaking about a suspect or a vehicle or something she saw after that. She walked away from our cameras. Again, Dana and Audrina, a few quick things to note. It's kind of weird just trying to figure out how this all happened. These 2 women were found in an alley, not inside a home or not in a vehicle. So it raises more questions as to how this all played out. Again, 2 women dead, a third one taken to the hospital in critical condition.
Marcia Talbert recalled waking up Tuesday to a terrified woman in trouble, desperately seeking help. It shook us up, she said. It woke my son up and he was scared. The woman was without a coat and covered in blood, Talbert added. By the time she had retrieved her coat, Talbert said the victim had already left for another neighbor's home, which opened the door to assist her. According to the neighbor, she dialed the police, wrapped a blanket around the victim, and stayed by her side until Chicago police officers arrived. It's not clear if all 3 women knew each other. No one is in custody at this time.
A woman horribly injured speaking Spanish goes door to door for help around 77th and Oglesby early this morning. Surveillance video shows the frantic moments as the woman who had been shot seeks assistance. Chicago police report the woman had been shot in the face and chest and was the only one to survive. Less than a block away, 2 other women had been shot in the head and died. The survivor went to at least 2 homes before first responders arrived.
She kept saying, police, police. We came outside. My mom came out first, and she was bleeding everywhere.
It was just before 5 a.m. when neighbors say they heard gunshots, a car speeding away, and then cries for help.
There's blood all over my doorstep, all over my door, all over my doorbell.
We called the police. We saw that she was bleeding from her neck, and we just ran in the house and got her a blanket for her to put it around her. We're not, not medical or anything, but we knew that she probably needed some help.
I saw that she was covered in blood.
Hopefully the young lady that was on our porch, hopefully she'll have a recovery and she'll survive this. But unfortunately, for those other 2 lives that we wasn't even aware of.
The woman was taken to University of Chicago Medical Center in critical condition. All 3 victims are between 20 and 30 years old, according to Chicago police. As CPD investigates, at this time we are told no one is in custody and a motive is still unclear.
For now, the city moves on. The crime scene is clean. The alley remains empty, but something lingers in the air. A name unspoken, a secret buried, and a question that haunts the streets of South Shore. Was this random or was it a warning? One woman survived the night, but will she survive the truth? Alright y'all, there y'all have it, man. Crazy story. Let me know what y'all think about this one, man. Get in that comment section. Driller gang, you already know what it is. Drillers and trappers, we out here trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!